Major comeback victory for Duke basketball over Louisville. Now they turn their attention to a top 25 SMU squad as Duke looks to go 4-0 in ACC play. This is Locked On Blue Devils.
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. So great to have you here with us today on Friday, January 9th, 2026, as Locked On Blue Devils is your one-stop shop where we discuss everything going on inside the life of Duke athletics. On today's show, our good friend Josh Cox from Section 17 Media is hanging out with us today. We're going to be talking about the Duke basketball team and yet another impressive victory for the team over Louisville. Comeback effort to knock off the Cardinals, and now they get set to take on SMU. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Go ahead and watch our show each and every day on YouTube as well. Like this video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue that climb towards 5,000 YouTube subscribers. I can't wait to celebrate that milestone with all of you guys here on the show. So without further ado, Josh Cox hanging out with us here on the program. Good to see you once again, my friend. And man, I'm excited to be talking about a second half that was quite impressive in Duke's victory over Louisville. You and I were texting at halftime of the Duke and Louisville game. And in that moment, we thought it would be a whole different outcome than what it ultimately ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, what a turnaround. You Duke gets down early, and that first half was just it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And I think anyone that's played sports on any level, like sometimes you show up and sometimes you don't. And it was like, man, this team just didn't show up. And and then I'm thinking, man, what's Louisville? I know preseason, and I know it's been kind of Duke, UNC, Louisville, and then maybe NC State kind of hanging down there, Virginia as well as the top teams in the ACC. And it was like, man, maybe Louisville really, really is that good. And then the second half happened, and it was like, oh, okay, this is that Duke team that we saw back in November and early December that we were like, man, this team is breezing through that tough non-conference, right? That team was back.
Yeah, it's crazy to think what can go through your head during something like halftime, right? And clearly it was the same sort of thoughts maybe that were going through the players' heads, the coaching staff, to figure out what we could do to fix this. But as we're just watching it, I'm right there with you step for step. Oh my gosh, what is going on? How in the world do you go from one of the top runs in non-conference play in the entire sport to not being able to defend anybody? I could not get over the fact, Josh, that Louisville's top scorer was not playing, and they still scored 47 points, the most points anybody had given or scored against Duke this year. I couldn't get over that.
Yeah, and what's his name? Khalifa could not miss. I mean, could not miss. And listen, I know I've got some close friends of mine that are huge UNC fans, and they feel the same way. So I think this is something that we do have in common. It is funny, teams or players, individual players oftentimes will get up for that Duke game, and a player that's shooting 27% from three he's gonna go 7 of 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, in this game or whatever it may be. Anyway, but you're right. It was I couldn't believe it was happening. I couldn't believe that they couldn't miss. It was reminding me of the Georgia Tech game in that sense. Georgia Tech couldn't miss. I believe they wound up 56% from three in that game. And I was like, this is going to be another one of those games where Louisville cannot miss a three. Duke can't hit. And we just don't have enough, in the end. And then, like you said, whatever Jon Scheyer said, did, adjustments made, speech, whatever he did at halftime, that Duke team that came out in the second half was a radically different 180-degree from the first half.
For sure. And it's so clear watching college basketball how much of an impact good coaches can have on the sport, right? This is not the NBA where there certainly are good coaches there, but oftentimes your players are making the plays out there and the ball goes that way. I think it is so critical. Talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I do want to get to the defensive end of the floor, but offensively specific, in the second half, when Duke gets to run everything in front of their bench, Josh, where the team can visibly see Coach Scheyer off here, and credit to Coach Scheyer for one, just being younger and being able to be as energetic and everything in it. I mean, every play almost, they're looking, and he's able to kind of get them settled down, wanting to attack the rim. Duke completely eliminated the three-point shot. But that's something I personally don't talk about enough. I want the Blue Devil community to look at this as well. That, like, dude, in the second halves, you're right there in front of Jon Scheyer, who is an offensive basketball guy. You got to get this right in those halves.
Oh, no question. And I think it's a testament to the head coach and then the staff, and none of us truly know the inner workings of that staff, right? Like who is specifically involved with what, because you remember when Jay Lucas left, it was like panic mode. Like it's just his last
defense.
And they play defense. It's like, yeah, they can. You know what I mean? But it's the coaching thing is so weird, man. And not to get off on a tangent, but it's like Ole Miss football. It's like they lose like their head coach and like the majority of their coaching staff. They still make it to the Final Four in the college football playoffs. It's like It's like I think Coach K has said it before. Like successful coaches, coach players that hit big shots, right? Like Christian Laettner misses that shot and Duke wins one national title in 91 instead of back-to-back, and who knows what we're talking about here. But anyway, all that to be said, Jon Scheyer has proven where I think you see good coaching is out of bounds, after timeouts, ATOs, and then the blobs, baseline out of bounds plays. You see those two things, and I think consistently in the Jon Scheyer era, you've seen Duke be very successful on both of those. And to me, that's a good coach. And it helps, to your point, when they're right in front of the bench on offense and they're really able to, communicate. And I think you've seen Duke excel in those situations under Scheyer.
Sure. And not to keep giving out excuses, a little bit of a reason why there might have been some slow starts in some of these games. And it's one thing to be able to, you're dribbling up the rock. You don't want to have to look back over your shoulder to try and see what we're running and that sort of thing. And instead, it's kind of right there in front of you in those second halves. And the leader, go ahead.
Now, let me say that also, slow starts, good second halves. I'm a big believer in the team takes on the personality of their best player.
Yeah.
So my opinion, last year's team, the reason why they competed so well on defense is because their best player, Cooper Flagg, competed so well on defense, right? And amongst
That's
other
a great
things.
point. Yeah.
So this team is Cameron Boozer. He is the best player on this team. He may wind up being the national player of the year. All right. He's leading the country in scoring, all those types of things.
Better be. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has shown that he takes the game in stride. There have been entire first halves where he has been, where is Cam Boozer, right? Like he's trying to get into the flow of the game. He's not forcing it. This team, like whether they want to admit it or not, kind of take on that personality trait of Cam Boozer. And like, I do think there may be something to be said about that like what you don't see from this team is like a bunch of dudes trying to force crazy stuff. And like, maybe we need, as the fan base, right? You need and want them to maybe force some action in the first half, right? Like, let's be a little bit more forceful on bullying Cam Boozer on that block, or like, let's be forceful on making sure Isaiah Evans gets 4 threes up, you know what I mean? In this next 4-minute mark, like whatever it may be. But I just think Duke any team defaults to the personality and the style of their best player.
Yeah.
So I could be wrong on that, but I've thought about that. Like Cam takes things in stride and he's slow starting sometimes. And I think the team may be the same way.
For sure. I mean, there are several games from, watching it and thinking, man, it's been 4 or 5 minutes and Cam hasn't taken a shot yet. What's going on? Like, let's get involved and kind of go from there. I think that's so big and key with what Duke's trying to do. All right, let's continue that thought because I've got a few more things I want to say on Cam Boozer and some of the other stars that Duke has had specifically as of late. We'll continue our conversation here in a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at Rugiet. Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but absolutely should. Stress from work, money, life. It just doesn't switch off at night. And when it shows up at the worst possible time, Rugiet Ready is designed to help you take back control. Get Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. Get Ready combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast. The science behind Get Ready stands out. 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 formula designed for both mental and physical readiness. It's easy to understand why over 150,000 men have already made the switch. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to rugiet.com/lockedoncollege. That's rugiet.com/lockedoncollege to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Get Ready. Feel present, feel confident, feel ready. A proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. All right, welcome back into the program. JJ Jackson hanging out with my buddy Josh Cox from Section 17 Media, taking on the personality of your best player. And your best player is Cameron Boozer, and he puts together games like this against Louisville. You could see it, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. And in some ways, you and I love to talk about this from time to time, Josh. That was a quiet 27 in some ways, man, because it was bigger, more explosive plays maybe from Caleb Foster in the second half, the 3-point shooting from Isaiah Evans. Little do you know, I'm going to get to those guys in a moment, but it's still Cam at the end of the day. And look at the line he put together.
Listen, that's when you know that you're in the presence of greatness, in my opinion, on the basketball court. When you're like, hey, Cam Boozer's had a decent game. And you're like, oh, a decent game, 27, 8, and 4. You know what I mean? Like, there have been times, don't get me wrong, where Cameron Boozer has been loud. It's been obvious. But this is, you're right, JJ. This is one of those games where it's just like, you know what? When we needed a big shot, Cam hit it. Like when he needed to hit a 3, he hit one. Like, he went to the free throw line and made a couple free throws. You know what I mean? And and before you know it, it's like, oh, that's 27 points.
Yep.
And that's greatness, man. I really hope that the Duke fan base takes these next 3 months and appreciates the workman-like style of Cam Boozer, right? It is a grind, fundamental. Like it is old school, like YMCA dude basketball in a lot of ways. And like Cam Boozer just happens to be elite at it.
Yeah, no, and the fact that he puts together things like this and we're taking it for granted, man, it's awesome to watch him get in the zone and certainly take over games. And like we said, when he has the rock, good things tend to happen for Duke. All right, the guys that do have a little bit more explosiveness to their game, at least in what we've seen lately, and the ability to heat up in a moment's notice. How about Slim? Showtime Slim, a remarkable performance against Louisville. He has really turned a corner once we've gotten into ACC play. It's great. You get all these wins in non-conference play, and there were games where it was super quiet, what you were getting from Isaiah Evans, sometimes not even noticeable in the box score. And all of a sudden, man, he's turned into a scoring machine, and Duke certainly needed it.
Yeah. I mean, this is his 3rd straight game in double figures. Just ridiculous. I can't remember. It was social post. I'm not sure if it was from Duke, but when Isaiah Evans scores 20 points or more.
Yeah, that's John Rothstein. And I've appreciated Rothstein sharing that. It's like 22-0 or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. First of all, it's ridiculous for Rothstein to be pro Duke anything, and then for him to highlight that. Pretty awesome. But yeah, man, listen, the questions throughout the beginning of the year, who's going to be the second guy, right? If Cam's the first guy, who's going to be the second guy? And I think what you saw at Louisville is you got 2 guys for sure in Isaiah Evans and Caleb Foster, right, who can be that second guy. And I believe Dame Sarr could also be that second guy. And I believe on certain nights, Patrick Gongwa can be that guy. But listen, I think the most consistent, I would say the person that has the ability to be that the most often is Isaiah Evans. And I can't stress enough that he has turned his game from maybe he's not turned his game, but his role is such in this year where he doesn't have to force it. He doesn't have to take bad shots. He can play within the flow of the offense. He doesn't have to worry about Scheyer taking him out of the game. You know what I mean? Like at the next dead ball, whatever. He can play He's got confidence, the confidence of his coaching staff. He's got confidence in himself. I'm telling you, JJ, it's a beautiful shot. He shoots the free throws so well. He's approaching 90%. He may have hit tonight. I'm not sure. He's like high 80s. So if he gets to the line, it's basically automatic. I mean, really, we're talking about Isaiah Evans as his three-point percentage continues to rise, because his volume does obviously take it down a little bit. Like he's gonna go down as one of the best shooters in Duke basketball history, and we get to watch it.
Yeah. And I think the scoring and him making all of these shots translates to what he's doing on the other end of the floor. And when you're involved, it's easy to give, I hate that it comes down to this, but for some guys, way easier to give that type of effort because you're just amped up. You're super excited and that sort of thing. And for people watching us here on YouTube, Josh, I think the other two numbers on the screen, not the 23 points, but the other two numbers are just as impressive for Showtime Slim.
Listen, especially the steals, because he is a good defender. And the lineup that Jon Scheyer went with for the majority of the second half, with Caleb Foster, Isaiah Evans, Dame Sarr, Cameron Boozer, and Malik Brown. You saw a little bit of Pat Gongba, but really it was Malik. And that was really the lineup that John said, like, this is what we're rolling with.
Yep.
And you would potentially say, hey, the only hole in that lineup defensively is at the 2 spot with Isaiah Evans. Not so. His hands are active. He's in the passing lanes. He doesn't deflect the ball as well as Malik Brown, but he does. He gets his hand in there. And listen, he said it last year. Like, the reason he wasn't playing more last year is because they couldn't trust him on defense. Like, he knew it last year.
Right.
Like, he is absolutely improved. When he's matched up on somebody, I no longer think like, oh man, like Slim going to get beat. Like, there's been Duke guards in the past that I've been like, whoever that guy's guarding is probably going to exploit that matchup. But we won't.
Peter might be coming. Yeah.
Yeah, we won't name any names, but I do not feel that way with Isaiah. And so, yeah, you're right. It's not just his points; it's his ability to rebound the basketball, his ability to steal the ball on defense. It's also his ability, and I know like his assist numbers are not like crazy, but it's also his willingness. He's become a more willing passer as his role has developed and expanded.
Yeah, some of those lobs in particular, I'm thinking of him kind of attacking the rim hard. And next thing you know, you've got a guy flying up towards the rim, whether it be Gongba or Malik Brown, whoever it may be. It's an easy pass there for Slim to make. All right, we've got, of course, one more star that needs to be highlighted. And, man, this is one that gets everybody excited. What we got out of C-Foss against the Cardinals, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. The drives in the second half, remarkable.
It really was. 16 of his 20 points were in the second half. Clutch, like just clutch. It is, if you were to objectively look, if you were to take names and you were to take the previous seasons out of the picture and just say, hey, you're a top 5 program in the country. You're returning a junior point guard.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want him to be able to do on the road in January at Louisville? And what Caleb Foster did is exactly what you would want to have happen. Whether that was Jeremy Roach a few years ago, or whether it was, like Grayson Allen a few years, whatever it may be, like, this is what I need from a junior leader. And Caleb Foster did it. What I want to comment on, and if I get a chance over the weekend with the SMU game, I'm going to ask Caleb about this, but his decisiveness, right? Like, I feel like last year there was a lot more indecision. He would get in the lane, or not even just in the lane, even like catching the ball on ball rotation. Like, there was just some indecision, right? Like, there's like, Caleb, you were open, man, take that shot. Or like, man, you got in the lane, like either shoot the ball or pass the open man. Like, don't get in the lane and then try to like. So like this year, I just feel like he goes in the lane. He knows I'm going up with this. If for some reason I can't go up with this, I'm hitting that opposite corner, right? He just knows what he's going to do. Ball rotation comes around. He gets it. He goes straight into his shot. Like, I just love it. And like, it's a testimony, like, to other guys. Like, if you're not going to the league as a one and done, do not bail on this Duke program, because they are going to develop you. They're going to get you to be a better player than you were the previous season if you'll just buy in. And like, Caleb Foster has shown that, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, don't run from the challenge. Continue to put in the hard work and that sort of thing. I thought it was interesting, and we have talked about this certainly in the week, that Pat Kelsey now can't beat Duke. as the Louisville head coach. He's had halftime leads in all 3 meetings. He's lost all 3 of them by exactly 11 points, which is such an oddity within it. But in that second half specifically, I don't know, maybe stop the guy from get credit to Cephas for sure. But every time he wanted to, it was there. And that, Duke's not really shooting the ball that well from the outside. They dominated the points in the paint margin against Louisville, forced this team to shoot. I don't know. I thought I'm grateful again that this happened, but man, that was a head scratcher.
Well, if you're following the Duke basketball program, you only have to rewind 25 minutes prior, and you see a team that has the potential to be a much better defensive team that just wasn't playing good defense, and that was Louisville.
Right. Yep.
The Duke first half on defense was the Louisville second half on defense, and if I'm a Louisville fan, I'm thinking we're a much better defensive team than what we showed in that second half.
For sure.
Like I said, just as Duke said, we're a much better defensive team than we showed in the first half, and so Duke took advantage of it. As Louisville did in the first half, Duke took better advantage of it in the second half. And I do want to also shout out the defense leading to offense, right? Defensive stands, turning the ball over or getting missed shots and turning that in to offense on the other end. I believe the social media team earlier this week highlighted a specific play where Duke was just harassing on defense. And then it turned into a break where I think Cam got a layup on the break. So that stuff matters. But yeah, I do believe if I'm Pat Kelsey, I'm thinking Caleb Foster has shown he's going to do one of 2 things. He's going to shoot the 3 or he's going to take it to the hole. He's going to take it to within 5 feet of the basket. And honestly, that's efficient basketball in 2026, right? He is efficient in that sense. And it's okay, if you know what he's going to do. And he's 6'5", he's not 6'1", but still, you're right. There should have been some sort of adjustment made on Foster. But I guess when you got Isaiah Evans, you can't help off Isaiah.
For sure.
You can't help off of Cam. Dame, depending on the night, you can't help off of Dame.
The percentages are improving for sure.
Yeah, the only guy you can really help off of is Malik. And so if Duke can figure out a way to scheme where Malik's not in that play, good luck. Good luck stopping it.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. And now they get to build off of this. And one thing for Louisville, you get these guys again, and we're going to play again on January 26th. It's the one thing in the schedule. You're playing North Carolina twice. Now you're playing these Cardinals twice. Duke went into their place and got a win. They want to return the favor coming up on January 6th inside Cameron Indoor. So we'll see exactly what that looks like when these 2 teams meet up. First, though, can't overlook SMU. That's a team coming in to Cameron Indoor this weekend. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Shout out to FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. The wild card round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pass waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like the most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. You make your picks, then apply your profit boosts to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. All right, my buddy Josh Cox is hanging out with us today on our Friday show here, talking Duke basketball, and now we've got a top 25 SMU team. Welcome to the top 25 SMU. And in general, Josh, welcome the rest of the conference to the top 25 after they spent more than an entire year not hanging out with us in the top 25. It's good to have some company, man. It's great for the league.
Well, welcome SMU to the top 25, and then they immediately lose to Clemson. So, they'll be out of the top 25, next week, especially if they take the L in Cameron this weekend. But yeah, it is good. I mean, listen, this is not a podcast about football, but it's also true in football that the ACC they've not gone away. There's been some ups and downs, maybe more downs than ups, but the ACC is here to play, and basketball the same way. The SEC had a couple of seasons here where they were just at the top, and we're starting to see the pendulum come back. Listen, I don't like it, but UNC is playing really good basketball. I think they have 2 losses on the season. Caleb Wilson's solid. Virginia's playing really well. Louisville's good. Duke's good. NC State's good.
Yep.
SMU's good. Like, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. I tell you what, you're not going to get to the end of this year and say, oh, Duke got to just, coast through the easy ACC. That's not going to be the case.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it starts with a game like this where you feel great riding, coming off the win over the Cardinals. But, hey, it's just going to be as difficult going back home, not getting complacent. And here comes the top 25 team in SMU, who you're right, on Wednesday, they're kind of in a little road trip here where they took on Clemson and lost by 4 to the Tigers on the road. Now they've got a chance to come and knock off Duke. We saw Duke go to Dallas last season, right at kind of the similar portion of the schedule, just right after the new year a year ago. And Duke did walk away with a victory, but Andy Enfield has proven to be a really good coach. Previous stops, including USC, and it's an SMU team that's got some experience. Boopie Miller has been around the block forever, and he's leading them in scoring. So yet another challenge for the Duke guards to really step up defensively, and we'll see if maybe Dame Sarr wants to put Boopie Miller kind of right there on his hip the whole game.
Yeah, and by the way, Andy Enfield, Florida Gulf Coast, JJ. Wasn't that the OG?
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe so. That was that run they made in the tournament, and then he got that USC job. Yeah, but no, you're right, SMU. I mean, by the way, within the last 2 years, they played Duke last year, and Duke won that. Yeah, they did that 25 out of 26 times. Duke won an ACC game over the last 26 games. That's pretty freaking crazy. But anyway.
I don't have to reference previous meetings too frequently.
Yeah, you don't really have to Google. Yeah. Like if it was this year or last year, Duke won 25 out of 26 of them. So anyway, and I know that's like super Duke basketball, whatever. But yeah, I mean, listen, Boopie Miller is solid, mature. Like you said, been around the block, going to be a challenge for this Duke team. I would expect to see them put the size on him, even though, once again, another defensive scheme question that I have is like Duke's not switching 1 through 5 as much in some of these games. But I will say, like, if Dame Sarr is starting out on Boopie Miller, like they're going to get him in pick and roll, and they're going to try to exploit certain things. And Duke's just got to be aware. And listen, I know these guys are elite basketball players. I know they're going to be they already are making good money, and then some of them are going to be making really good money in the NBA at the next level. But some of this is just about like awareness.
Yeah.
Like, some of this is about like, don't get distracted. Like, pay attention to where your man is, like head on a swivel, know what's coming, fight through, switch, communicate. Like, the game of basketball is complex, but it's also pretty simple. And
right.
So when you got a guy like Boopie Miller, it's really about like, hey, the guy that's over here in the corner that and the ball's the opposite, like that's Boopie Miller over here in the corner. So I'm going to take a step closer to that guy than I would if it was just a regular player, right? Like I'm just going to be around him a little bit more. Like when he rubs off that screen, I'm going to make sure we make contact and I push him around a little bit, like, because it's who he is. Right. And so anyway, I just think Duke's going to have to do those types of things. I expect Duke to do that. I expect Duke to take the second half of the Louisville game and for Jon Scheyer and company to say, like, this is who Duke basketball has to be for ACC play and for Duke to build upon that. But we'll see. You never know.
ESPN Analytics and the Basketball Power Index give Duke a 92% chance to win this thing. Obviously, you got to play it out on the court. SMU does have a couple of other guards that are in double figures in scoring from Jaron Pierre Jr. and BJ Edwards. Those guys, notably, though, are shooting less than 34% from three-point range. Boopie Miller shooting 43%. So really want to give him some credit and make sure you're kind of attached to him and not let him get open looks there from the outside. Going to be fun. Duke and SMU on Saturday inside Cameron Indoor, 2 p.m. Eastern. Josh Cox, tell us about Section 17 Media.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll be in the house in the SMU game on Press Road there. But, yeah, we cover Duke football, basketball, baseball, and anything else, really, if we want to. But Duke athletics and obviously heavy on the football side. Sun Bowl champs there, Duke football. Manny Diaz making some noise in the portal, landing a couple of big boys on the offensive line, landing some guys in the secondary. Nate Shepard back, all that good stuff that's happened over these last few days. But, yeah, we cover all that. Just finished up kind of our football season. Yeah. And then we do basketball. So we'll release podcasts every couple of weeks with basketball. We're just trying to make our way into this basketball space, navigate a little bit. So if you would follow us, especially if you're a Duke basketball fan. We're really trying to grow the basketball side of that fan base now through Section 17 Media. So YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. So we really appreciate it, man. And like JJ said, this channel is almost at 5,000. So if you don't already subscribe, make sure you subscribe to Locked On for sure.
Appreciate that shout out, Josh. Good to see you, man. I'll talk to you next week, okay?
All right, man. Go Duke.
All right, that's Josh Cox joining us here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. Always appreciate him taking time out of his schedule to join us here on the program. That'll do it for our show here today. Be sure to subscribe to us, as Josh said, on YouTube. Subscribe to us for free wherever it is that you get your podcasts. Check out our Everydayer Club. More information on that down in the show notes here below. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you on Monday. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.